Nova. So the Cosmic Circus said that Nova will be a key player in the next Marvel saga, just like Loki was for the multiversal saga. So Brad Winderbaum, who is the guy that is in charge of the he was in charge of the Disney Plus shows for Marvel. He said that they're obviously pulling Nova back, and a lot of other shows have gotten canceled just because of the fact that Disney Plus hasn't been going well. And this makes me feel like maybe they are shifting to making Nova a movie type of character. So I know you're not the biggest fan of Nova, based off of what he's been in the comics, but I wanted to ask you, like, what changes could they make, and what do you think Marvel Studios could do to make Nova a big deal in the MCU?
I think that Nova, if you're going to make Nova a big character, first of all, this is where the Guardians could come in, because you could add some interconnectivity there. But he is someone who, like, one of his coolest stories of Nova is called Annihilation. A lot of people consider it the greatest Marvel event of all time.
Really?
I don't. It's dope, though. It is a great comic. But in Annihilation, basically, Nova is someone who, after Xandar gets destroyed by what's called the Annihilation Wave, which is led by Annihilus, Nova basically downloads the entire Nova Force and Xandarian world mind into himself, and he gets like a huge power boost. But he goes from a soldier that was basically, spearheading a resistance against the Annihilation Wave, and he confronts Annihilus directly in the climax. I think that if you're going to make Nova a big character, you got to give him something where he goes through some trials and tribulations and becomes stronger on the other side of it. I think that would resonate with fans. I think fans would appreciate someone who went through some kind of challenge and obstacles and then comes out the other side like an absolute savage. I think a lot of the earlier Marvel heroes, like Iron Man, Thor, Captain America, especially in like those first, each of their first original movies had something similar. And if you had Nova go through that and then come out just a savage on the other side, fans would love it. And then you have him built up as this powerhouse because fans got to see him kind of come into his own. It's not an origin story, but it's a story of advancement. I think that would be really cool.
Yeah, I agree. I think that Marvel Studios, and please, guys, don't take this the way that I'm saying it. If Nova is going to be a big deal, you need to treat this casting like you're casting RDJ for Tony Stark. You have to find someone that can embody this character perfectly. Like, you need the perfect casting. Like we've seen with, how Star-Lord's version of Star-Lord, it isn't the same as the comics before the MCU. It fits perfectly. The same with what's up?
It also has to be Richard Rider. You can't do Sam Alexander.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Richard Rider is the guy. Sam Alexander he's like a weak.
He's a boy, bro. You're like, yeah. We need Rich. Okay, we need Rich, but the casting has to be perfect. And one thing I feel like Marvel, the reason why fans love Doctor Strange in Infinity War and Endgame is because the Russos weren't afraid to show the power levels of Doctor Strange. Like Doctor Strange was soloing Thanos without an Infinity Stone. You know what I mean? Because he's just that powerful of a character. And sometimes in a lot of MCU films, it feels like they shy away from the actual power that the character has to nerf them for the actual story. And that's why a lot of people love Captain Marvel 1, because they weren't ashamed to tell us, yo, this is the most powerful character in the MCU, and here's why. And with Nova, if you want him, like, if you want to show him that, yo, this is our most powerful character, or this is our big deal guy, for the casual fan, you have to showcase his power. He has to have, like when I watch RDJ's Iron Man or Captain America, even Hawkeye, like, they have a type of aura to them that's like when I watch Clint Barton, bro, I know that Jeremy Renner knows what he's doing with that character. There is no doubt in my mind that whatever he's going to do, it's going to be flames. And with Nova, he has to have that. And I also do agree with what you were saying as well. he has to be put through trials. That's a really great point. I never really I never thought about that for real, you know? And you saying that is one of the reasons why I love Spider-Man in live action. It is also one of the reasons why I love Batman, bro. Because we've seen them time and time again go through the craziest trials. And when you are going through trials with a character, it builds a kind of relationship with you as a fan with that character, and it helps you resonate with their story. So, bro, that was actually a really great point. I never really gave that thought.
Like the whole thing about Spider-Man and Batman, when you think about all their best movies, or really all of them, they go through crazy trials and tribulations. I'm on such a Spider-Man kick right now. It's crazy. I've been reading Spider-Man comics like nonstop. But anyway, it's not that I don't like Nova. I just think that he is someone that if he, I don't know, some stories with him are cool, some aren't. And if they were going to make him like bigger, they would have done it already. It's just like, and I hate, most of the time I hate his costume. He actually looks pretty cool in that picture though.
Yeah. I mean, I think Nova would need a serious makeover. Kind of like how they did Star-Lord. Like I really think they like Marvel Studios needs to make a change, and that change needs to happen in the comics too. He's never that interesting for me.
Well, no, what he was dope in is Annihilation, and maybe they should do an Annihilation movie. Maybe they do that. They bring in the Guardians. They use Silver Surfer. And maybe that's like one of the stories they do, because like I always said, I think it would be really cool if the MCU got to a point where they could tell multiple stories so for example, say you have an X-Men story going on where there are multiple X-Men movies and then there's a big X-Men crossover movie. You could also do at the same time during the same saga a Nova movie, a Guardians of the Galaxy movie, a Silver Surfer kind of, special presentation. And then you do Annihilation crossover of Nova, of Silver Surfer, and the Guardians of the Galaxy. And then you have a Cyclops movie, a Magneto movie, a Storm movie, and an X-Men movie. And not every story needs to be connected to each story, but you could have other stories that have interconnectivity with other stories going on, kind of like the comics. But I think a lot of people are going to look at the multiversal saga and say that concept is a failure. I don't think that concept is a failure. I just think the multiversal saga is a failure. I think they put out bad projects for bad characters. And I think that there's going to be a lot of misplaced blame, similar to what I was talking about before, when people blame things and they're so vague that they actually miss the mark entirely. This is why when you place blame on things, you really need to be precise and pinpoint exactly what you're blaming on. Otherwise, you're never going to move forward correctly.
100%.